Hi guys, I'm back with a review of The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson. This is an adult psychological novel that was published back in 1959. I absolutely loved it. This focuses on a doctor. He's an occult scholar by the name of Dr. Montague, and he is studying the psychic phenomenon known as haunting. And he's chosen a place called Hill House as his location for his research studies. He's gotten the permission of the family that owns Hill House to use that location to study haunting because the house is believed to have been haunted. And they are kind of curious about it themselves. They just have one stipulation that a family member must be present during his research. So he agrees to the stipulation and then goes about choosing assistants to help him out with the research. Choosing from a list of various people that have claimed to have some kind of psychic phenomenon happen to them. And he researches their stories and stuff and chooses several people. Even after he's made his final selections, things sort of happen to these people. Either they suddenly get an illness or something takes them away out of town that they cannot participate in. And eventually he goes further and further down his list until he comes to the name Eleanor Vance, who's our main character. He ends up choosing her. It almost seems like something is forcing him to make this decision as I'm reading along, and I thought that was really fascinating about that. So Eleanor Vance is a 32-year-old woman who has spent the past 11 years taking care of her ailing mother. She has recently passed away. She's been living with a sister, a brother-in-law, and a 5-year-old niece, none of them who she can stand. They're all very mean to her, very bossy. Her sister's pretty much has dumped her mother's care on her for the past 11 years, and Eleanor has had pretty much no life. And when Dr. Montague contacts her to be part of this research weekend, I think it is, she jumps at the chance and accepts it and wants to borrow the car to drive out there. Her sister gives her all this grief, even though half of the car belongs to Eleanor. She eventually just takes it and takes off and doesn't tell them where she's going. This is something she's been waiting for all her life. She's been waiting for something to happen to her, some kind of event, something that's she can call her own, I guess. And she's not willing to pass this up, so she drives off to Hill House. She's actually the first one to arrive at the location and meets Mr. Dudley, the caretaker of the grounds. She meets them at the rusted, locked-up gate, and he's a rather cantankerous, mean kind of person, and when she gets past him, she arrives at the house and meets his lovely wife. I say very sarcastically. She's equally dour and very stern and straightforward, and takes her up to her room and explains what her duties are and what Eleanor can expect of her. And this is one of my favorite parts of the book and the movie that they remade. I'm so glad they kept it in. I'm just going to read a little passage of what she recites to each and every guest who shows up. It just really sets the tone for it. She says, I don't stay after I set out dinner. Not after it begins to get dark. I leave before dark comes. We live over in town 6 miles away, so there won't be anyone around if you need help. We couldn't even hear you in the night. No one could. No one lives any nearer than the town. No one else will come any nearer than that. In the night. In the dark. So that just, I just love that part. It just really, like I said, sets the tone for the creepiness of it, how everybody feels about this house, between the Dudleys, the neighbors, they stay as far away as possible, the townsfolk. Nobody likes this house, and of course they can't understand why these people are planning on spending several nights in there doing this research. Shortly after, Eleanor meets the next guest, the next assistant, Theodora. That's all she's known as is Theodora. The two kind of go off, explore the grounds of the house. Their meeting is very interesting, and their verbal banter back and forth I found kind of odd, but delightful in a way. I mean, they almost act like children going off exploring in the woods, and they almost make up like stories about themselves and where they're at, and it was really interesting, their interaction with each other. We shortly after that meet Luke. He is the family member that is present there. He's a rather young man who hopes to be the future heir of Hill House. He's the skeptic. He does not believe anything about the hauntings. He's there to kind of poke fun at everybody, and especially Dr. Montague and Eleanor, and disbelieves everything entirely. And then we have Dr. Montague, who is very serious about his research. He plans on having everybody fill out papers of what they observe and experience each and every night. The house has definitely got this creepy factor to it. Of course, it has Mrs. Dudley in it during the day. And I just like the interactions, again, with the various characters when they first meet and kind of like, well, tell us a little bit about yourselves. You know, they, again, make up stories about themselves. It's a very strange interaction. Sometimes they seem very friendly towards each other, sometimes they seem very hateful of each other. Eleanor is just, in a way, happy to be a part of something. There are times when we are able to read her, hear her thoughts, and she's sitting there amongst them, and she's like, I'm sitting and having dinner, I'm having a conversation, I'm saying things to people, I'm one of them, I'm a part of this, I belong here. She definitely has a sense of feeling of belonging in this place and being a part of this group, and it's something that she hasn't experienced in most of her life, it seems. I really, really enjoyed the whole setting of this, and as the story is sort of unlaid before you, there's never, because it's more of a psychological horror, it's not like they're going to be seeing things, there's not ghosts passing by, it's a lot of it's sound and things you sometimes wonder, is it in their head, are they imagining it? A lot of the things that do occur seem to be focused around Eleanor. Is she a target for some reason? Why was she sort of selected in a way, even though she was the bottom of the list of assistants that Dr. Montague could have chosen from? Just really pulled me along through this entire book. I absolutely loved it right to the very end. The house itself, I sometimes wonder, is that the main character as opposed to Eleanor? Because the house is so oddly built. The members of the group here get lost quite often because there's such twisting, turning corridors, so many doors. The doors never stay open. It seems like the house is sort of built slightly askew, so all the doors will always close shut. And yeah, I just love this one. I couldn't recommend this one enough. It's a very quick read, and definitely a great psychological thriller. I give this 5 stars. After I read the book, I picked up the 1963 reproduction adaptation of the book, and this is a Robert Weiss production. It is in black and white, which definitely adds to the atmosphere. I think it's something special about a black and white movie in a horror genre. It's all the shadows and the darkness just makes it feel more oppressive in a way. No bright light, sunshine shining through. It's all dark grays and blacks. And the movie stayed very close to the book, with a possible exception of just some names. For some reason, Dr. Montague's name is changed to Dr. Markway. Eleanor Vance becomes Eleanor Lance. There's one other character. Within the book, we meet Dr. Montague's wife. She comes to be a part of the research group a little bit later on. She does something with this, I think it's a device called the planchette, which is sort of like something that you use on a Ouija board that you move around, but instead of pointing to letters, you put a pen in or pencil, and it does writing. And she travels up there with another man by the name of Arthur, who's sort of like her assistant. But the wife is very bossy. She almost starts to take control, bossing people around, ordering them left and right, and really disliked her character from the beginning. In the movie version, she isn't there for research. She does kind of show up near the end. I forgot what the reason was that brought her up there, but she ends up spending the night and sort of in a way drawn into events that take place, but she's no way controlling them or participating in the research. She just sort of becomes part of events that happen and unfold around her. But it was a very good adaptation of it. I know they did another one in 1999 with Liam Neeson and Catherine Zeta-Jones. I actually liked that movie. I thought it had a really good creepiness to it and everything, but it is a definite twist on it. There are some plot points that are the same. Some of the character names are the same. Eleanor's like the main character. Things focus around her. And also Hugh Crane, he's the one who built the house, and that is a name that appears in both the books and all the movies. But it's not a really good adaptation of the book. This would be the best one for it. So that is my review of The Haunting of Hill House and the movie The Haunting. And I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you decided to give them a try. Thanks for watching.